Hello. Hello. Look who's here. Oh my God. It's all hello. Oh my God. Hello. Wow. Okay. We are here. Hello. And I even got a hello in the chat. Oh, this is amazing. This is just like, I mean, oh, an ice cube. Okay. Hello. Hello. I didn't want to teach, but suddenly I do. But my board doesn't want to teach. Excuse me for 1 second. My board was here. Yes. Good afternoon. Okay. Hold on a second. Why is my board? This is going to happen a lot. And people in the waiting room, hang on. Yeah. Oh, come on. What? Hold on, hang on. Why is this? Okay. Wait, so I'm going to do the good afternoon. Well, first of all, hello, Gianna. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Abdel. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Samuel, whom I will get to know very quickly, very shortly. It's good to see you. Hello, Jalen, whom I will get to know very quickly, very shortly. It's good to see you both. Wait, who else to see? Hello, Amy/IceQ. And hello, Jamalet, David, Sophia, Jocelyn, Jasmine, Shakia, a lot of new faces. Okay, and wait, oh, Ash, did I say Ashley? I said Gianna. Oh, and there's people in the waiting room. Sorry, hold on. Okay, wait. And there's people in the chat. I know people said hello in the chat, which I totally did not acknowledge it because I'm me. Hold on. Okay, wait. Oh, and there's more people in the waiting room. Wait a minute. Hold on. Those who can't teach. Those who can't manage space, time, or technology teach physics. Hold on. Okay, wait. So let me start this again. Or let me start saying hello again. Okay. Yes, I'm saying hello to the chat. Oh, no, there's more. Wait, this is a big class. Right. Some of you had, of course. Okay. We're going to get to know each other, obviously. Oh, and I just lost my board again. I don't know why that keeps happening. I do know why, but it doesn't matter why. If your donkey is in the ditch, you have two choices. You can sit around and talk about how the donkey got in the ditch, or you can get the freaking donkey out of the ditch. So yeah, put this board back on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Okay, the board is back. All right. First of all, and there's people in the waiting room. Okay. So first of all, let me start this again. Let me start the hellos again. If you just joined, you have missed nothing except for a lot of displaced enthusiasm. So I'm doing the chat, first of all. Hello, Gianna. Hi, Sarah. Hello, Amy/IceQ. Hello again, and good afternoon from 2D Stephen. Hi, Jamalet. Good afternoon, David. Afternoon, Jasmine. Top of the afternoon, Abdel. Good afternoon, Sophia. Oh, it really is the afternoon, isn't it? Okay. Or it's the morning, Samuel. Yes, it's all in your perspective. It's all relative, really. Hi, Brianna. Hello, Brooke. Oh, what a cheery, she said hello to everyone, which is so nice, especially since so many of us are strangers. No, that's fine, Samuel. It's not you. There's no bad and good. There's only math and theology. Okay, wait, and now I'm going to say quickly hello and again, hello, Gianna, Sarah, Stephen, Abdel, Jalen, Brianna, Jada. I didn't say hello to Jada. Hello, Jada. Sophia. Maybe I didn't say hello to Sophia. And there's, and Shamil is in the waiting room. Hang on. Okay. We will actually do physics, believe me. By maybe starting around March, we'll do some physics. No, we are going to start, but I'm very pleased to see you all. I'm particularly pleased because all right, and there's some people still, if I haven't said hello to you yet, that's only because I first say hello to the videos and I say hello to the chats, but hello. Oh no, I say Diana. I think it's Diana. Correct me in private chat, please, or correct me publicly if you want. I think it's Diana. Hello, nice to meet you. Hello, I think I said hello to Samuel and Jamalet, David. Jocelyn, hello, nice to meet you. Jasmine, hello. Shakia, nice to meet you. Chloe, nice to see you again. Brooke, nice to meet you. Thank you for saying hello to everyone. That was so community embracing of you. Hello, Al-Smael. Nice to meet you, Ms. Mayor. Just kidding. My dad wants to meet you. Okay, whatever. but that's not a joke. And you could tell because it wasn't funny. Hello, Shamil. Okay. Oh, yes. Well, I don't even understand that, but okay, that one I understand. Okay. Now we have some. So great to meet you all. I'm Professor Yaverbaum. For those who, oh, it doesn't even say that here. Some of you I know, of course, many of you I know from 203 last semester. Then there are many of you who took 203 last semester, but with Professor Walters, of course. Of course, I momentarily forgot that because I'm the center of the universe. But Professor Walters is part of the center of my universe. If you don't know, I mean, I love Professor Walters and I love anybody who had her, and anybody who had her actually probably learned something. Unlike anyway. So I want to get to know you. I also, if anybody, let me see here. Also, I'm thrilled that you're all here because I do understand that my email, well, we'll find out in a minute. Oh, and the board is about to disappear. We'll find out in a minute who actually got my email. Presumably, if you had Professor Walters last semester, yet you're here, that must mean you got my email because you wouldn't know my Zoom link any other way. But I know some of you didn't get the Blackboard email. We'll have to address that in a second. So we're going to find out in a second. One of our orders of business is to all make sure we're on the Google Classroom, which I'm going to check into in a minute. I will say this. If I don't know you yet, if you didn't have me last semester, if you don't mind putting in either the private chat or the public chat, whichever you're more comfortable with, if you don't mind just introducing yourself one way or the other, and just tell me, like, I had Professor Walters last semester, or, you know, I'm a transfer student from SUNY Albany, whatever, that would help me a little bit. But certainly anybody who had Professor Walters last semester, of course, we're different people, but a lot of the routines are very, very similar. A lot of the expectations are similar. Such as using Google Classroom. One of the orders of business today is to make sure we all get set up with, okay, thank you. People are starting to respond. Totally appreciate it. Okay, great, great, great. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, direct chat people, direct. Awesome, awesome. Okay, I appreciate it. And nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Great, great, thank you. Okay, I'm not, and if you're doing in direct chat, I want to respect that. So I'm not so cool. I'm not going to like name you by name, but cool. I've gotten a number of people from the direct chat to, but I definitely, especially if you were coming from someplace other than John Jay, you might have the most reason not to want to say anything right now, but it might really be helpful if you did, even if it's privately, just to let me know. So I can, okay, good. I see a lot of you. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Awesome. And I hope it is clear. Professor Walters and I are very good friends. We go back a long way. And often I often stay over at her and Professor Nail Walter. You know, she's married to another Professor Walters. I don't know if you guys know. And I stay with them often on Monday nights in New York. We do nothing but play games and talk about all of you. So some of you I may already have heard stories about, but I would only have heard positive things. I am lying, but I promise it's basically true. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think I've gotten responses from all of you. Great. So can I just ask it? Can I get an electronic hand or electronic indication if you did get an email from me, like a Blackboard email from me saying like, welcome to Physics 204? Oh, some of you did. Okay, Stephen did. Great, thank you. Oh, you did. Okay, great. So it didn't, good. Okay, that at least makes us feel somewhat ordered. Cool. Oh, good. Oh, and Sammy, okay, good. And that's why you're here. Okay, great. Apparently some people did. Okay. So the board, why does the board keep disappearing? 1 second. Good, I'm glad. So one thing is, this is where we'll meet every single time from here on in Wednesdays and Mondays. Again, if you're from John Jay Physics already, I think you know already, there's no distinction between lecture or recitation. That's a registrar thing. It doesn't apply. Both Monday and Wednesday are me. They're both here. They're both kind of the same format. Whether you feel like that's a lecture or recitation is your feeling, but there's no distinction. Mondays and Wednesdays, 12:15 from now on, are always here at this Zoom link. Hold on, I'm just trying to fix the board while I talk about this. Oh, sorry. Um, everything is, and if you did have me for Physics 203, first of all, I'm thrilled to see you again. But second of all, the routines are very similar, like very, very similar. Um, and so if you did well, they're good. That's a good sign that I mean, there shouldn't be any major surprises here. For everybody, I think this was also true of Professor Walters. Everything is managed through Google Classroom. Like Blackboard is just a link to Google Classroom for good or for bad. We're going to turn to Google Classroom like in one moment to make sure we're all there and to get it rolling right now. That's one of our orders of business today. That and getting my board to work again. Well, in fact, all right, I'm going to leave the board. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to turn, but it is great to see you. We're going to get rolling. I would like to get to know you, as I keep saying. Some of you I do, but I hope it's clear to anybody who does know me. I just hope it's clear. At any time, please feel free to put anything in the direct chat. Like, could you slow down? Could you speed up? I missed the last thing you said. Wait, I don't even know if I'm in the right place. Anything. Like I will talk until I'm stopped, but I'd rather it be about you guys than me. So at any moment, if you're uncomfortable about anything or whatever, please just put in the direct chat. I promise I will acknowledge what you put in the direct chat. If it's in direct chat, what I won't do is mention your name to everybody else. I might acknowledge the content. Like if you ask a question that I think everybody else could benefit from, I might acknowledge publicly that question, but I won't mention your name. Like that's what direct chat means to me. So please do stop me at any time. What I want to do right now is go, okay, 1, 2, there's 1, there's 4, 9, 14, 19, 21 people in the room. Oh, and Osmail is that right? 21, yeah, there's 21 people in the room. I want to pause for a second and go to Google Classroom and see if we're all there. Oh, and Yuvan is back with us. Okay. So we have in Google Classroom right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's good. So just about all of you, that's great. I really appreciate it, are signed into Google Classroom. I would like to ask you right now, if you have not signed in, if you've not joined our Google Classroom yet, can you please send me a direct chat right now, a private chat right now, just to let me know, and either say like, I haven't done it yet, but I will, or I don't even know what, or say, I don't know what you're talking about, or something. But if you have not signed into Google Classroom, because I think there's one person in the room, maybe, who has not. So if you could send me a direct chat, just acknowledging either that, like, no problem, you're going to get to it, or you need help, that would help me a lot. I'm looking because I don't want to. 20, 22. We have 22. We have 22 in the room. Okay. Oh, great, great, great. Okay. Okay. Great. Hold on. Okay. So pretty much okay. Therefore, give me 1 second. Okay. Therefore, what we're going to do right now to get warmed up, instead of me fussing with this board, what I'm going to do in a moment is screen share. Well, you'll notice if you've already signed into Google Classroom, which is most of you, hopefully you see there's already assignments due next week. There's a 1A and a 1B due for next Monday. One is sort of qualitative, not so mathematical. 1A, which is called unthingy things, is not so mathematical. It's not so mathematical. It's maybe a little bit more, dare I say, fun. It's meant to show us what this material is about. And we're going to do 1A, we're going to do together in a moment right now. Oh my God, Osmo's having Wi-Fi problems. 1A, I'm going to, hopefully you see it in your Google Classroom, and definitely private chat me if you don't or whatever. But I'm going to screen share 1A in a minute. We're going to sort of do it together. Oh, we're going to discuss it together. And then I'm going to ask you, ideally, to jot down the results of what we do together, to just you don't have to be formal about it, just on a piece of paper to jot down conclusions we come to. And you're ideally going to be able to submit 1A before we're even done with this class, partly just to make sure that we're all, ideally, you don't have to be formal about it, but it will be our first sort of exchange of work, the first time you submit a document, just to make sure we're all on the same page of how that works. Again, I think we are, because I think everybody in this room either had me last semester or had Professor Walters. So I think probably we're okay. But ideally, by the end of this class, you're going to submit a document that informally puts down our findings from this homework 1A. And then you'll get a quick grade on it. And again, you don't have to be formal about it, but it's just to make sure that we know how to have a Google Classroom exchange. Okay, that's sort of the goal of today, is to do homework 1A together. Then homework 1B is more mathematical and more traditional physics. It gets into things. It's not easy at all. I'm going to tell you right now, homework 1B is due for next Monday or whenever we have our next class. I am going to do that formally, like on a separate piece of paper, ideally with the 5-step problem solving method, which we'll talk about again. I think Professor Walters exposed you to it, but I don't know if it's as big of a deal with her as it is with me. So we'll sort of find that out from you guys. But I do want you to make your best attempt at homework 1B. Your best attempt at it will be due Monday. I'm going to warn you right now, or I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to take us a long time to go over. There's a lot going on in homework 1B. It's a long assignment, actually. It's only one page, but by the time you get to the last few questions, especially the very last question, there's a lot going on there. So I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to be on homework 1B for a little while. Like in Physics 204, it often takes me the first 3 or 4 classes to discuss fully through homework 1B. 1B is an opportunity for us to get out on the table a lot of material, that some of which you may have seen briefly with Professor Walters at the end of last semester, some of which you saw super briefly with me at the end of last semester. So a lot of this stuff, so it's a transition assignment from the old physics to the new physics. In theory, a lot of it at the beginning is about stuff that in theory we've seen before. But I know realistically that you saw it very fast, whoever you had. So in a way, homework 1B is like a way for us to transition, to get down all the fundamentals we need in order to then do this course. So what this is a long way of saying, I'm going to ask everyone to make their best, most thorough, most careful, honest attempt at 1B by Monday. I don't actually expect you to finish it. You can stop in the middle. You definitely can stop before the very last question. You might stop even before then. That is okay. I'm telling you right now, you're going to get an extension with that assignment, okay? But I want you to hand in something that sort of shows how you do your work, something that's careful and thorough and thoughtful by Monday. It's more important that you do something kind of deep and careful and accurate and clear than it is that you do something complete or long or broad. Okay, so basically you're handing in a first draft of homework 1B for Monday. And for 1A, we're hopefully all going to hand it in by the end of this class once again. So first of all, can I get electronic hands that what I'm saying is sort of clear? Like, does it make cool, awesome. Thank you. Awesome. That's great. All right, I totally appreciate it. Okay. And the corollary to all that is whatever you do on 1B, there will be more time to resubmit, and get even a higher grade. So great. I think that's clear to everybody. Okay. And I'm taking that to mean also that since you're in Google Classroom, you can see those assignments there. You know what's going on. Okay. We're going to get rolling. I think 2 more informational questions for me, though. Those of you who had Professor Walters last semester, did she discuss the 5 and I'm not holding you to a perfect understanding of this, but did she mention or ever discuss the 5-step problem solving method for those of you who had Professor Walters last semester? Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, great. Thank you, Jay. Oh, you're right. Thank you, Jalen. All right, you're my new best friend. Okay. All right. And again, that does not mean I'm holding you to a perfect, but good to know that you've been exposed to it. Okay, great. And Samuel, you can put unless you have a question, I think you can put your hand down, or do you? Okay. Great. Okay, that was question 1, and then question 2. Well, okay. Then the other thing is, I don't think she does this. Wait, let me look. There's something in the direct chat. Great. I love direct chat. Hang on. Right. Great question in the direct chat. Okay. So the short, all right. So there's a question in the direct chat. I'm not going to mention the name, but it's asking essentially, when you submit homework this semester, do I want you guys to upload pictures of your work into a Google Doc and then submit that to Google Classroom? So the short answer is yes. That's the short answer. Let me expand slightly. It doesn't have to be a Google Doc. It could be a PDF. In fact, sometimes those actually even work better for me. But yes, Google Doc or PDF is preferred. Yes to everybody. Whenever we do homework, what I am expecting is that you'll write out the homework any way you want. Like most people, including me, still prefer pencil or pen and paper for doing physics. Most people still prefer not to type out their physics homework, and that includes me. I can't really think that way very well. So yes, whenever we assign homework, and this also goes for exams, by the way, yes, I'm expecting that you're doing out homework in your traditional old-fashioned way if you want, that you're writing it out. Then you're taking pictures or scanning it in, yes. And then here's one key thing. I don't know if Professor Walters did this exactly the same way. Say your homework takes up 3 pages, like 3 sheets. I'm expecting that you're taking a picture of each page or you're scanning each page, but then one way or another, you're putting all the pages together into one file, one Google Doc or one PDF, and you're submitting that one file into Google Classroom, into wherever the assignment portal is. Yes, that is what I'm expecting. That's what I want. And the one thing that and again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm super loose about a lot of things, and then I'm unpredictably tight about certain other things, and it is hard to predict. And definitely I encourage, and I don't mean to be that way, I just am. So I certainly encourage anybody who had Professor Walters before, hopefully make friends with people who had me before and talk in private about what you can get away with and what you can't, and like how to work this class. I mean, I'll try to be as honest as possible, but of course you guys know better than I do how things really come across. So where I am strict is whenever you hand in a homework, I would like one file. It does drive me crazy to get like 14 different JPEGs or something in fact, it makes it impossible for me to grade properly. So one file is one thing I'm strict about. You will find I'm not that strict about timing. You could be late. I'm telling you that right now. You could sometimes be late. You can definitely resubmit as you improve things, especially as you learn things from me. That's always fine. But yeah, each time you submit something, one file is what I'm looking for. And these are good questions, and please keep them coming. Even the people that already have had me, I mean, I apologize if I'm boring them slightly, but this is a welcome back like day. So I just want to assure everybody of how things work. So keep these questions coming, please. And also I encourage, I think this happened last, please, in your own way, I hope that you guys set up a, either a Discord or like a WhatsApp or some kind of group chat thing where you can all communicate with each other. It really makes things a lot better, especially since, some of you know me better than others and know how this works. Please help one another. If there's one thing I cannot emphasize enough, and I hope the people that had me last semester tell the people in private that didn't have me, I hope they believe, I hope it was proven to them what I'm about to say, which is you are not in competition with one another in this class. You're not. I feel that you're not. You tell each other in private whether I'm telling the truth or not. But I want to just say again, I do not have a limited number of A's that I'm willing to give out. If I like it when a lot of people get A's, okay? And I like it when people do better by helping one another. Please understand that the A that you're striving for, or the B that you're striving for, or the whatever you're striving for, does not have to come at the expense of your neighbor. And if your neighbor or your colleague is striving for a good grade, they don't have to be a threat to you. You can both help each other and both get a good grade. It is not a sum zero game in my world. There's 1,000 reasons for that, but especially since COVID and especially with an online class, I cannot emphasize that enough. So anyway, with the homework, yes, I expect one file, please. Yes, you can redo things, you can re-upload things, you can be late with things. But I always like one big first attempt to be made when it's due, so I can see that you're trying and you're trying to stay on top of things. But there was one other thing about that. One other logistical thing about uploading. Oh, well, just side note, you can type your homework. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that that's harder for most of us still. But if you are comfortable doing physics by typing it directly in, you certainly can do that too. Okay, wait, let me just see. Okay, so that answers it. Oh, and the person that asked that question, the person who asked that question then said thank you when I just gave an answer. He or she might have said thank you 5 minutes ago in a polite way to get me to shut up. That's which is fine too. But that reminds me, thank you for saying thank you. Reminds me of one other thing, and we will get going in a second, but one other routine of this class to make sure everybody knows. I do this thing with the game turns and the participation submissions. I don't think Professor Walters does that. Are you familiar? Those of you who had Professor Walters, did she do anything with like submit? Oh, and you had her in person anyway, I think. So this probably really wouldn't matter. Did she ever do anything? Did you ever do anything where you submit for points regarding your participation? Can I just get like a yes or a no or something from anybody? No. Okay. Fair enough. I didn't think so. And that's fine. So this will take a little bit of getting used to. And again, I encourage you guys to talk with each other and make a group chat thing. But all right, okay, I'm gonna screen share this right now for everybody. And again, for those of you who know me, I apologize if this is whatever, old news. I mean, go get a cup of coffee, I suppose, for a moment. But okay, I'm gonna screen share this. Hold on, I'm about to screen share something with everybody. Okay. Okay, what you'll see on the screen now, and again, this is largely for the benefit of people who don't know me, but to reinforce, but also, quite frankly, a lot of people that had me last semester really took advantage of this, and it really made a difference in their grade. And then some people sort of never did, and maybe they never understood it. So maybe it's good to hear this now for some. Here's the deal for everybody. A game. Game refers to the participation game that we play in this class. It's not a game, it's real. It actually really counts for your grade, but it's a game in the sense that, one, it's totally optional. You could spend the entire semester not playing it, and that's totally fine. You'll never be punished. But then it just means that your grade is very heavily determined by exactly what you did on exams, and that might not work to everybody's advantage. So the deal with the game is there are standard turns in the game. Every class that we take is a turn. So today we have class number 1. As you see on the thing, there is turn number 1 because of class number 1, and it's due tonight at midnight. Every class, like the next class will be turn 2, it will be due at midnight. It will look exactly the same as this assignment right here. The turns, the daily turns look exactly the same. And all they're asking you to do, and again, you can confirm this with people who've had me before, all I'm asking you to do is take out a piece of paper and just write on it, today I said hello in the chat, for example. Or today I asked a question about uploading Google Docs to Google Classroom. Or today I gave an answer when Yaverbaum asked for the velocity of the particle. Like, you literally just jot down one sentence reminding me of some way that you participated today. Obviously, the more substantive, the better, but any way that you participated in a given class, you just write down a sentence reminding me of that. You don't have to prove it. You're just reminding me. I have a pretty good memory. Even if it was literally you just saying hello in the chat, which, by the way, is the reason that a lot of people say hello in the chat, which I do like. I think it actually helps the class. Even if you just said hello in the chat, that's legit. You just write down, I said hello in the chat. Okay. Or you can open up a straight up, since it's so simple, you could just open up a Google Doc and just type that in, like in that, it's not that hard. One way or another, you just submit like one sentence to this portal by midnight that says the way you participated in the day, and you'll get 5 points for that. If you submit it after midnight or like tomorrow, you'll get 4 points instead of 5. Okay. Strangely, I'm more strict about timing with these things than with the hard real math homework, because these only take 2 seconds. They're only meant to take 2 seconds. They're meant just to be a reflection, a momentary reflection that you engage in on like what happened in the class and what you did in it. You're just telling me something you did. That's it. And you get 5 points for doing that every time you do it. If you skip one, if you don't do it, you just don't get any points. That's it. So it's like you could consider it extra credit. There will be other aspects of the game too. You'll see, and other people see, like other portals will open up, such as a game avatar. If you ever, or video, like if you ever, it's like some people are showing video today. When I open up the portal that says showing video, then anytime they show video, they can just submit a sentence into that portal that says I showed video today. Maybe they screenshot it. That would help. And they'll get points for that. So there's different ways that you can get points for participation as the portals open up. You use them at your will. It just, and if you don't use any of them, that's fine. But every time you use one of these portals or you submit and you get it back, you get points that get added onto your grade. I'll talk about that more soon, but they do. And they get added onto your grade in the same way that all the homework, the regular homework points get added onto your grade. I probably have to talk about that in a minute. But any points that you ever get for any of these participation portals all get added into a big pile of points that include all the points that you got on all your regular homework. And that all gets tacked onto your grade at the end. I guess I will explain that in a second. Even with the homework, you could never do it and you'll never be directly punished. I don't know if that's exactly the way HEMA does it. I think it is. But if you never did any of the homework, you'll never get 0. You'll never get punished for that. It's just that then your grade is severely relying on your exam grades, which sometimes doesn't work to certain people's advantage. So every bit of points that you ever get in this class that's not on exam, any bit of homework points, any bit of these participation points, they all get added to your grade, and they're all technically optional. In a way, they're all extra credit, but they're pretty regularly part of the class. So even this thing that's right here that you're staring at, there are definitely people in the room already who have already participated, and some of them didn't even know about this. Like the people that have already asked a question in the direct chat, for example, or answered a question in the direct chat, you could do this right now. Like just type in right now, say you could even screenshot what you did in the direct chat. Just hand this in right now, and then you're done. it shouldn't take more than a minute. It's just meant to keep us in communication with each other, and you'll get 5 points. Okay, so that's how. I'm going to look in the chat in a second. I see there's questions. So that will happen every day. There will be a turn like that will look exactly like this, and then there will be other portals. Any other portal that doesn't say turn, any portal that says like submit video or show an avatar instead of just your black box name in Zoom, or for example, this is what made me think of all this. There's a portal that will open up that's called closing a conversational loop. The person that asked the question in the direct chat totally did that. That is, he or she asked a question, right? Fine, that's participation. That's 5 points right there. Then I answered it. Then that person said thank you, which means a lot to me, not just because it's like a very polite, civilized thing to do, but also that's that person's way of making it clear to me that I have now answered their question. It's also a polite way of getting me to probably stop babbling for a while. That's like really helpful to the whole class. So that person who asked the direct chat, let me make very clear, that person who asked the question in direct chat about uploading documents, they should submit that for this for 5 points, but they can submit the exact same thing. Like they can screenshot that entire dialogue and also submit the exact same thing the moment I open up the portal for conversational path. I've been closing a conversation. And in other words, double dipping is totally encouraged. Anytime you participate, any portal that ever opens up that you think it applies to, just put it in and you just get that many more points. Okay. It's kind of like Nook Miles in Animal Crossing, if that means anything to anybody. And so if anybody right now, if you're new to me and what I'm saying makes sense to you at all, and you want to put in the direct chat that it makes sense, boom, that's your participation. And then you could submit it and you got points. Like it would mean a lot to me actually if it did make sense, or put in the direct chat that it doesn't make sense. But that's the deal with that. Okay. Oh, and I'm looking. Okay. So I'm looking. So I'm gonna stop this share. We will get to the other thing. I'm watching the clock, but these are great questions in the direct chat. So let me answer them. And the more they happen, the better. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. All right. So thank you. So of course, if someone does put something in a public chat, I'm totally going to acknowledge it. Thank you, Jada, for going public. And by the way, I should open a portal for that too. I should also give extra points when people go public. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but anyway. So thank you, Jada. Okay, so that means I'm not totally wasting my time. I like the feedback. I mean, we're in a world of feedback, right? It's like you buy something on Amazon, then they send you the thing, then you tell them how they did. I'm surprised we haven't got. One day we're going to get to the point where Amazon then sends you a survey. No, wait. We should. After Amazon sends you the survey about asking you how your feedback, you know what I'm trying to say. It should get to, we should send surveys to Amazon asking them how they feel about the feedback we gave them. And then they should, anyway. All right, you get my point. But no, it's cool what Jada said. All right, so now it does. Anything you do counts. And like, you might even think to yourself, so I could just like write hello just for the sake of getting the points. And then I get the, yes. And hello, that's called positive reinforcement. Like, why not? Yes, you totally can. Now, there's direct questions that are, question about the textbook. Okay, there is a really good question. Oh, there's a bunch of good questions in the chat. Okay, first of all, there's a question in the chat about the textbook. It's a multi-layered question. There is a textbook that's posted in Classroom. I get. Oh, I know what book you're talking. Okay, I think I get it now. Direct chat person, you're gonna have to make sure that I think I understand your question. Tell me if I'm not answering. All right, let me back up for a second. Yeah, okay, sorry. In the Google Classroom, there is a textbook that's like recommended or mentioned in one of the links, in one of the tools links. That's a book that I put on Amazon a long time ago that has all these past final exams from this class and solutions. It's like a test prep guide for final exams in this class. And I've had it in Google Classroom just as a recommended tool for a while. Now, so the question in direct chat, I think, is referring to that. and it's just recommended. It's just under tools. It's not the required text for this class at all. And it's not expensive, but I don't get the money. It's not about money. It's just recommended. Once upon a time, yeah, I totally recommended it. Once upon a time, it was a great study guide for the final exam for this class. And it was just easier for you to just to get that than for me to give a million review packets and all of that. Now, so I still have it in Google Classroom, but to be super honest, so the question in chat is, are the questions on the final exam like similar to the ones in that book? Well, yes, they are, but I do have to admit that that book covers a lot that we don't tend to do as much anymore, like on Zoom and since COVID and all of that. Like there's a lot in there that would maybe be intimidating or a waste of your time. So I would say, for the moment, I wouldn't push you to rush out and get that. I mean, yes, it totally is past final exams from this class. So the direct chat person, there's a book called Backfields, which is on Amazon, which is just a study guide that I put together for this class a long time ago. And frankly, I put it just to compete with Chegg. I was just so sick of everybody getting all this material from Chegg and getting wrong answers from Chegg. Like, honestly, I was like, forget it. I'll just put my own Chegg out there because this is stupid. Like Chegg doesn't, they don't even have people that understand how to do these questions and whatever. So I put out this, so I did make, so I just published past final exams from this class with all the solutions and explanations. And I still think it's good. And I still think it's better than Chegg. And I don't think it's that expensive. And yeah, it's totally relevant, but I just have to warn you. I have to warn you that there's a lot in that book. Our final exams are not as long as they used to be. I mean, that's just about, they're not as thick and as long as they used to be. And they are take home now, which they weren't when I put out that book. So I think it's a good book, but it's definitely not required. And the simplest thing I could say is you definitely can do this class without getting that book. Definitely you can. And I definitely will give out a practice test before the final exam, which will be very relevant to the final exam. So I would not rush out and get that book. I think that's what the person's talking about. Tell me if okay. I think that's what the person's talking about. In general, okay, I should get back to, but let me know if that's what you're talking about. I mean, I'm glad you asked. And then, if you're really interested in the material, whatever, yeah. I don't know why I'm uncomfortable with that. It's like weird that I put it in Google Classroom, I guess, in a way. It's just another resource that could be helpful. But just like last semester and just like with Professor Walters, okay, let me say this to everybody. You're going to get a midterm exam. I mean, you're going to have a midterm exam. Someone else in direct chat asked, how does the grading work? Let me tell you right now. It does work the way it did last semester, but here's how it works. You're going to have a midterm exam. You're going to have a final exam. They will both be take home. They will both be untimed. They will both be open book. That may not be the way Professor Walters did. In fact, it couldn't have been because her class was in person. But both the class, I think. You will have two exams in this class that will be take home, untimed. I mean, they'll be due at a certain time, but you will have more than 3 hours to do them. And you will be able to consult notes and the web and other people. And for each of those exams, I will give you first a practice exam, which will be extremely similar to what the actual exam is. It will basically make it clear to you what you can expect on the actual exam. I will give one out before you take the actual exam. Again, and the book that's online that a person's talking about is essentially that, just all done in advance. You'll take those two exams. You'll get a grade on one, you'll get a grade on the other. Then you will also have a final grade from lab, like after all of your lab work. So I'm answering the question, how does the grading work? And I'm also trying to be as honest as I can about the exams and stuff. So you'll have a final lab grade, you'll have a midterm exam grade, you'll have a final exam grade. Those three things will be averaged together in the customary way. I won't drop the lowest grade because there's only 3 of them. You'll have 3 of those grades. They'll be averaged together in the customary way. Generally speaking, none of those 3 things is curved. Often there's like extra credit and stuff like that on one of them. And sometimes I'll make an arrangement where depending on how people are doing, sometimes I make an arrangement where whichever exam you did better on, I do weight slightly more than whichever exam you did worse on. Sometimes I do that. I'll tell you if I'm going to do it. I'll never do any surprising thing that isn't meant to help your grade. But you get 3 exam, you have a lab grade and 2 exam grades. They all get averaged together to make one number. I hope this is clear. Stop me if this is not clear. And this is all in the syllabus technically, but so then you have one number. And then what happens is you have this one number sitting there that's your base average. Then all of the homeworks that you ever get back and get points on, they're technically optional, but all the homeworks that you get points on and all of the game turns and all of the game points, all of those points are accumulating as you go in the semester. They're all optional, but there's this pile of points that's accumulating. At the end of the semester, you have this pile of points. At the end of the semester, I decide on a scaling factor that is the same scaling factor for all students, okay? And you'll see how I decide in a second. I don't know it until the end of the semester, but whatever the scaling factor is, it's the same for all students, and it's meant to benefit you, I promise. So say at the end of the semester, you've accumulated, say, 200 total homework and participation points. And say at the end of the semester, the scaling factor is the number 20, right? So you have 200 points accumulated and your neighbor has 150 and your other neighbor has 220, but you have 200 points accumulated and the scaling factor for everybody is 20. Then that means I take your 200 points, I divide it by 20. So now you have 10 credit points. And what I do is literally add those 10 credit points to the base average from your 2 exams and lab grade. So you have your exam average, and then I add to it something like 10 points. Then on top of that, then I have the option for all of you to give either 0 or 1 extra point for noticeable class participation. Like even on top of all this, I can still give you an extra point if you've like been present, if you've been talking, if I know who you are, if you've been trying, whatever, in some way or another, or even just trying a lot by written work. I can give you 1 extra point for participation. I'll explain that in a second. And so then that's your final grade. Your final grade is the 2 exams in the lab averaged together equally, plus the scaled down credits from all your homework and participation and participation points, plus a possible extra point. I'm going to stop in a second to make sure that's clear. And that is what happened last semester. And some people got a lot of the details back, and some people didn't get all the details back and just got their grade fast, depending on who they were and what was going on. But hopefully, again, if you talk to the people from last semester, I hope that in private, they would tell you like, yeah, like my exams were like 77, but somehow I still ended up with a B+ or whatever. Like, I think you will find, talking to the people from last semester, that they got a grade that they deserved and that they worked for, and that I'm glad that they got, but that was probably in many cases higher than their straight up exam grade by a significant amount. Because let me back up and say to everybody, the system that I just described, where I average the 2 exams with the lab and I make a base, and then I add all your participation points to that. When I just gave an example now, that was a hypothetical example of adding 10 points. That was an example, but it was not unrealistic. Typically, anybody who does a lot of homework and does a lot of turns in these game turns and shows video and does all these other kind of things, typically a person will accumulate enough points that by the time I decide on the scaling factor, a typical amount of points that gets added to a grade is somewhere like 8 extra points or 10 extra points or 12 extra points. Of course, if you don't do anything, then it's no extra points, but it typically can make a difference in like a full grade. And it's designed to be that way. So I know this is, again, redundant for people that have heard this a million times, but the system is designed. The whole point of this system is that there should be more than one way to get an A. that if you're a great exam taker and but you don't care about anything else, but you just rock exams and you just get the physics, but you don't care about talking, you don't care about like doing homework and stuff like that, that's one way to get an A. Or if you struggle with exams, but you're really present in Zoom and you really do all and you show video and you ask questions in the chat and all this kind of stuff, and you pay attention and you keep submitting for the points that you're doing for that, and you're doing homework and you're trying on homework, then that should be a way to get an A too, even if your exams are suffering. The point is that there's more than one way to get there. That's how the grading system works. So I encourage you to, and also on homework, and I think this was true of Professor Walters, but the homework, yes, there's a 5-step method. I guess you're all familiar with it. And yes, you got to put work into homework to get a lot of points, but it's not all graded on accuracy. It's graded on thoroughness, process, completion, and you can always re-upload and re-improve homework. Even the first grade you get, the first thing you hand in is a draft, and the first grade you get is a draft grade, and you can do more to improve the grade. So there's a lot of ways to get a lot of points that in the end of the semester get added to your actual grade. They do get scaled down, of course, because I can't add 200 points to an exam average. So they get scaled down, but whatever they get scaled down by is a number that I decide at the end, looking at all the grades. And I decide it based on, like, I want to make sure that people that did a lot of work actually get a good grade. All right, that's a long answer. Okay. So let me see. So first of all, I hope that answer, please let me know in the chat if you've asked a question at all in the chat, which is, and if we don't get to the other thing, well, I think we will, but if we don't, I apologize. But today should be about making sure that everything is clear. So if you asked a question at all in the chat, please let me know if I have answered it. And again, and feel free to post, put it in the portal. So, okay, so I think I've answered how the grading system works, and we'll go over that again. And I promise you, this is 204. The short answer is it works just like my grading system did in 203. But I know there's people in this room that didn't understand the grading system until maybe until maybe the minute they actually got their grade, if even then. But hopefully most people in this room saw that they got an okay grade in 203 and that things did work out. Hopefully, most, if you're here right now. So a lot of this, but they may have had to have asked many times, and I may have had to explain it many times, and it's fine. I don't mind explaining a lot. I do want it to be clear. Okay. How does the grade? So, but I think I answered it now from my office hours. Good question. I'll put in. Are they not in the? Well, my best here. I'll put in the chat right now. I'm going to put in the chat best ways to reach me right now. If we don't get into the other thing. I always forget my own. Just making sure that that's correct of what my office is. I always get that, which is crazy. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, okay, I'm just trying to answer questions here. I am watching the time. Again, I know this is all a little bit maybe not fascinating, but hopefully it's clarifying. Okay, thank you for telling me that. So my office hours are now, you may want to screenshot or whatever, what's in the chat. I just put my physical office hours. I'm in 046105 on Tuesdays in the middle of the day. Now, some of you know me. I'm not actually around very much other than that. I don't actually live in New York anymore. So that's a great time to find me. It's even best if you make an appointment for coming in physically to that time. I know I have 2 different email addresses, one that I use for the Google Classroom that all the stuff comes through. But if you want to actually ask me a question, you should just directly email me. Bizarrely, I do check my email a lot. Strangely these days, I am good with email. I think it is reliable if you use my regular email address. Like, again, the other one I use for Google Classroom, but I don't actually see direct emails from it. Hopefully the people that have me will also tell you that I actually am a big texter. We can talk about that more, but I'm happy to receive text, especially if it's like if it's a fast thing that can be resolved quickly and simply. I'm all for text, not to mention Bitmojis. So that's that number right there. Okay, wait, I'm just trying to answer the questions in the chat. Hopefully I am answering them. Is there, really good question in the draft. Is there a final exam for lab? Usually in 204, there is a lab practicum. Yes, I know there often is not in 203. To be honest, you should assume that there will be a practicum of, in lab, you will probably have a practicum, which is like a day where you do a thing, and yes, it counts as a test. It won't count hugely. It won't count as much as a regular exam, but you probably will have a circuit practicum in 204 lab that, yes, even though I know you probably didn't in 203, you should be prepared for that possibility, but also don't stress about it. It's not something that it's not so much that you study for it, and you certainly don't start studying for it now. We'll warn you as you get closer. But to be honest, yes, probably. Good question, direct chat. Okay, I'm just looking at it. Okay, and the person who asked the grading question, it's sort of clear. Okay, good. You can always ask me that again, or you can ask for further, because I know it is an exotic grading system. Okay, I think I've answered. All right, I want to get to this other thing and do it sort of quickly. But please keep the questions coming. Please know, and I want to hear also, really, I'll hear privately from, I would love, there's a lot about, well, you've heard. One message I just want to send in these trying times, and hopefully, and again, look, there's the message that I send, and then there's the message you receive. They're not the same thing, right? Like, they're just, communication is a complicated thing, which is why I love 204. By the way, I love teaching physics, but I particularly love 204. I really love 204. Do I even love it more than 203 at this point? Yes. For a variety of reasons. And what I really love is the opportunity. I really do love having people who are having physics for the second time, whether before they had me or they had Walters. And again, I hope it's clear. I love Walters and I go back a long way. Like, we're interested in getting sharing the same things with you and getting the same things out of you. Like, I trust her to the ends of the earth. I trust her with my child. And that's literal. I mean, she used to take care of my child. What I'm trying to say is this. I hope that in private, even if you struggle with physics, even if you find certain aspects of physics hard, or even if you find many aspects of me or Walter's hard to deal with, which is life, what I hope you all know is that the things that you'll find hard about me or physics are by accident, particularly about me. There's a lot about me that's hard to work with, but it is stuff I'm working on. Like, what I want you to know is I want you to do well. I want you to do well. And I know there's ways in which it's hard to do well, even like without me trying. So I'm not here to try to make it hard for you. I'm here to try to make it as easy as possible for everybody, knowing that it's still going to be hard no matter how much I try. But in other words, whenever you don't understand something about the grading system, or you don't understand something about a comment of mine, or you don't understand something about a system of mine, at least assume, if there's two different possible interpretations in your mind, take on the interpretation that assumes we're trying to give you a better grade, not a worse grade, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know how to put it better than that, but I just know that that's not true of all classes. It's not true of all classes that I've taken, and it's not true of all philosophies. There are people that just openly believe their job is to challenge you, and that's totally fair. And maybe I'm wrong for not thinking that. Like, and they'll be unapologetic and clear about it. I don't believe that my job is to challenge you. I believe life and physics and the universe is already challenging you. I believe my job is to help you, help me lessen the challenge and get through it. Just to be clear, okay? And that doesn't mean I'm always going to do what you want, but it means that I want the same thing as you want. And you should assume that when you're trying to figure out my systems or my grades or whatever. And I believe in second chances. Okay. All that said, I know we only have 14 minutes. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you should screenshot that and submit it to a portal when the portal. No, I appreciate that. And I good. Thank you. I mean it. Good. Okay. Okay. So we have 14 minutes. What we're going to do is open up. I'm going to screen share again. I know usually I use this board, and I should also say everything I do on the board that has disappeared right now. Every note that I take on the board, I will always upload as a PDF to your Google Classroom. You'll get it. I just haven't taken any notes today, so there's like nothing to upload, but you'll see that I do. And hello, good to see you. But what I'm going to do now is screen share. We're going to do quickly together. We're going to quickly do homework 1A. Hopefully we're going to get it done today. So let me just get it open so you can see it. But so in other words, I suggest, like, we're going to do it right now. I suggest you take out a piece of paper or something to be writing down quick answers to this assignment right now, and then you can just turn it in when we're done. I just opened it. 8 people have already turned in the game. That's awesome. That's awesome. But that's not what I meant to open. Sorry. Coming. Promise. Okay, here we go. Yeah, on thing. So I'm trying to open this. Okay. And I am aware of the time. The other routine is, and people know, when it is 1:30, when it's 1:30 and this class is over, this is how I operate on Zoom. When it's 1:30, I'll try to say goodbye, like right before then. It's nice if you say goodbye too. It's just like a human thing. But when it's 1:30, you got to go. I know that, like, go, and I won't hold you. Even if I'm still talking, if it's 1:30, you got to go. But what I generally, if I can help it, I won't go until the last person leaves. So generally, unless I'm rushing, I'll tell you, generally, I will just hang out. This is not like office hours, but I'll hang out until, so if you have questions or whatever, I will be there. And if I have to say that I have to go, I will, but I won't just log off until everybody else is logged off. So you should know that too. Like, you can hang out for a second after Zoom class. And at worst, I'll say, okay, actually I have to go get my son right now, but let's make an appointment right now, or text me. Okay. So you go at 1:30, try to say goodbye if you can, like in chat, but then expect that okay. Anyway, I think that's clear. I hope that's clear. So you can see now, here's this homework right here on thingy things. Okay. Generally, we turn this into like a big activity that takes like hours. It doesn't really need to. We're going to do it together right now. We're join with me for fun. I'm going to say what it says to do is to take two objects on your desk. So here, I've got two objects. I've got a candle, and you can't even see because of the nature of Zoom. Okay, I've got a candle and I got a compass because I'm that kind of crazy guy. Okay, I've got two objects, right? This is called thing 1. This is called thing 2. Now and it says, if you read the instructions on here, it says from here on in, when I refer to thing 1, what I'm really referring to is like the center point of thing 1. I'm going to think of thing 1 as being a whole bunch of mass that's just focused at a point at its center. So I'm going to think of it as like a little dot of mass, a little pixel of mass that can occupy a point or a dot of space at a dot in time. Okay. And similarly with the other object that you can't see until I go like, okay, I'm not thinking of this as taking up all the space. I'm thinking of like a dot in its center that is identified as thing 2. Okay. So I've got thing 1 and I've got thing 2. Now it's going to give me 5 here in the sheet. It gives me 5 instructions, 5 tasks to do with thing 1 and thing 2. I'm going to usually we take a long time with this. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Just read those instructions, or maybe I'll give you like 2 minutes and just jot down. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. But with each one of those instructions, it asks you to do something with the 2 objects. And what it says in advance, what it says on the sheet is that some of the tasks are super easy and will take you like 1 moment to do. And some of the tasks are actually impossible. You can't do them. It's not a trick. It's just a fact. Our job really here is to scan through these 5 tasks and decide which of them are possible and then demonstrate them and which of them are not. So, okay, there's a whole job for this sheet is just to decide of these 5 tasks. So I'm going to ask you to try right now. I'm watching the clock. We've got like 10 minutes left in class. I think if you take 2 minutes, I'm telling you right now, of these 5 tasks, some are possible, some are not. And I mean realistically, intuitively, like don't overthink it. You don't have to think about quantum physics or some weird thing that we haven't talked about yet. Just on a basic gut level, in the macroscopic world, some of these 5 tasks are possible and some are not. Please take 2 minutes on your own, whether to try at your own desk and decide which of these are possible and which are impossible. Okay, and you don't have to put anything in the chat. Just think about it for a minute or two. I mean, you can put things in the chat if you want. I'm going to say 2, just in the interest of time. When you think you've thought about all 5, I'm not going to call on you. I'm not going to ask you to share but when you think you've given thought to all 5, like basically when you think you know what's going on, could you please put up an electronic hand or something? Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I know. Oh, hmm. Okay. I think someone just wait. Okay. I know not everybody's done. It's not a race. Generally, we're not a race. I'm racing a little bit just because I know class is going to end soon. It's okay. I'm going to interject and start talking a second, just so we can keep going. But also, and I'm watching the clock. I just remember 2 things too, though. Number one, so you're going to, hopefully I'm going to say enough that you'll have enough to jot down for this, that you could just turn it in and get points. Again, you don't have to be formal with this. You just have to jot down something to show that you were with me today for this, and you'll get the points. The other homework, again, is much more quantitative. It's much harder. Okay. You are definitely welcome to use open notes, open web, do whatever you certainly help each other with. The other homework, I know we haven't said anything about the material yet in this class. In theory, we said something about it at the end of last class, and Hema, Professor Walters did too. Just try your best. You can use whatever resources you want. Just try your best on the other. Just know you're going to have time to do more of it, but hand in something your best with the other homework that's due Monday. Okay. But and then number 2, there was some other logistical fact I had to give you. I almost forgot. Wait, darn it. Wait, what was it? Oh, well, all right. I can't remember, but okay. So on this, here's the deal. With 6 minutes left, here's what I think. Place the center point, task 1, the center points of thing 1 and thing 2 in 2 different points in space at the same point in time. I think, yes, totally possible. I don't know if you can see the camera. I can't even see myself. Where am I? Oh, there. Okay. But yeah, like, duh, here you go. Like, here's 2 points in space at one. This is 2 points of mass at 2 points in space at 1 point in time. Totally possible. Here it is. No trick, no mystery. Done. So number 1, I think, is possible. It's not meant to be a trick. I think it's an observation. Number 2, the center points of thing one and thing two in two different points in time at the same point in space. Now, that's a different question, right? That is definitely a different question. It's almost a more awkward question, but I think it's also possible. It's something like this, all right? And then, right? So the first one was 2 points in space, 1 point in time. The second one is 2 points in time, 1 point in space, like they trade. Totally possible. Different configuration, totally possible. I'm just telling you that I think it is. And I wish we could discuss, but we're not discussing. Number 3, place two things, 1 point in space at 1 point in time. So now that one, not possible. Like, yes, I can have them near each other. Yes, I can have the tip of one touching the tip of the other, but I cannot have the center of one object. I cannot have 1 point of mass at 1 point in space, at 1 point in time, as another point of mass. Just can't do it. They'll bounce off each other. They won't share a space. I think it's impossible. You can't literally have like 2 electrons at 1 point in space and 1 point in time. We can question and argue that next time if you want. I'm all for it. But just in the interest of time right now, the answer I had in mind for that one is that's impossible. Number 3. So I think number 1 is possible. Number 2 is possible. Number 3 is impossible. Number 4, the center of one thing in 2 different points in time at the same point in space. Awkward sentence, hard to decipher maybe, but I think it's totally possible. Like I can have this one object here now and here now. It's at the same point in space at 2 different points in time. 1 point in space, 2 points in time, right? Or even I could just hold this object and it's just lasting there. It's here now and it's also here now. So it's totally possible for 1 point of mass to be at 1 point of space at 2 different points of time, I think. Number 4, I think it's possible. Number 5, awkwardly phrasing, very similar but different phrasing. This says one object at 2 different points in space at 1 point in time. That's not possible. I can have this guy at 2 different points of time at 1 point in space, but I cannot have it at 2 different points in space at 1 point in time. So first of all, with 2 minutes left, I think the answers to these are possible, possible, impossible, possible, impossible. First of all, just to get full credit on this homework, if you just jot that down on a piece of paper and hand it in, it shows you were paying attention. It shows you're here. That's all I'm looking for, okay? That's number 1. And so please do, just to also practice the Google Classroom interchange. But why am I talking about this with only 2 minutes left? Why? Who cares? What's the point? Here's my ultimate point that I will pick up on and expand on Monday. My ultimate point is this. What those exercises show you, it looks like they're telling you something about space and time. I would argue that what they're actually showing you is something about the nature of things. What they're actually showing you is the nature of a certain kind of thing that we would ultimately in physics call a particle. A particle is a really thingy thing. It's the kind of thing that seems tangible, massive, particular, discrete, countable, identifiable, physical, and hard. A particle is the kind of thing that cannot do number 3 or number 5. Particles cannot be in 2 places at once, and they cannot be in the same place at the same time as another particle. So like electrons are particles, planets are particles, baseballs are particles. This is a particle. A particle is something that obeys, that cannot do number 3 or number 5. Who cares? Because this is who cares with 1 minute left. There's a whole bunch of things that exist in the world, in the scientific, real, natural world, that are real, that are things, but are not thingy in that way. There are things in the world that move through space and time and occupy space and time, but can violate number 3 and number 5. Not certain things in the world can be in 2 places at once and can share 1 point in space at 1 point in time with another thing. Such things include sound, electrical current, gravitational fields, electromagnetic fields, waves. Those things are what Physics 204 is about. Physics 204 is all the same. And I know it's 1:30. This is my last sentence and then goodbye. Physics 204 is about the same practices and principles of Physics 203. It is about how things move through space and time. But in physics 204, the kind of things that we study are unthingy things. The things we study in 204 are not particles. What we study in 204 is stuff like sound and water waves and electricity, stuff that can share space with other stuff and stuff that can be in two places at once. That's the difference between 204 and 203. That's why physics 204 is a little bit more abstract and requires more abstract math, but is also much more exciting, I think. So that's it. Welcome to the class. I'm so glad you're here. I will wait to see if there's any more questions, but if not, but go and good and do your best on physics on homework 1. And it's great to see you and meet you all. And I'm looking at the chat, but goodbye. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You guys have a great day. Thank you. Have a nice day. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, please. Yes. So for that homework, you could just hand it in as is. Just those 5 answers is good enough for that homework. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Thank you. Nice to meet you guys. Nice. Awesome. Nice to meet you, Jalen. Oh, it's great to see you, Jalen. Hang out for a second if you're still there. Are you still there? It's great to meet you. Thank you for participating so much. I don't know if you're already gone.